Recording in progress.
Let's see if that works. Nope.
Is anybody getting sound?
You are? Okay. Yeah, I can hear it.
We can't hear Mark though, can we?
Okay. Yeah, I heard you loud and clear, Catherine, but I'm not hearing anything from Mark.
Right.
I think my microphone is off.
There we go. Yep.
Yeah.
We hear you now, Mark.
Okay, can you hear us now?
We do. All right.
Yes, and we can see the whole room now.
Okay. Thank you, Eddie. Nope. Now, quick question is, can you hear, Lenny, can you talk?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, very well.
Okay, so it's working. Excellent. Okay. Read the room here. I'm looking for that. See, I'm looking for the agenda for me.
Oh,
There's. Yeah, that's
this is my phone.
I can expect this. Perfect. Oh, I think.
John, it's up there. I can use my phone. It's on the screen.
All right.
There's at least an agenda in the minutes of the meeting.
Thank you.
And paper being recorded.
Yeah, it's up in the upper right. It says it's recording, I think. Right at the screen.
I'm good. I don't seem to have control. I guess I have to control everything from here. Chairman wants to be in the meeting, is in the meeting. Does anyone remember how to do a co-host? So we can have the conference room as a co-host. I think we're just gonna wing it like this.
So you want to make the conference room a call?
Yeah, I think so, yeah, do you know how to
Or
do
it
it?
already is. And so it's planned.
Yeah, but I don't have any controls here, all my controls.
Oh,
Not that I need them there, but I think there's something we needed to do as a co-host, make a co-host.
You can only do one or the other.
Is
I mean, I hate to monkey around too much.
yeah, I think we're okay. So the sound is okay for everybody? Okay, and we're just gonna wing it like this. Something's not right, but figure it out. Okay, so good morning. Let's see here. I think we start off by just introducing everybody. Let's see here. I'm Mark Rivers. Now over here's Howard, Walter, Lenny. Over John's over here as a guest. John's over here as a participant, and I forgot your name. I'm sorry.
Tom.
Tom, I'm sorry, Tom. Online, we have Catherine's online. Mary Davis is online as a guest. Bob Douglas is online. Eric is online. Frank is online. Frank again as a guest. And
Art.
let's see here. And Art is online. And the conference room is the conference room. A little frazzled today because it went so smoothly, but we'll get in here. So when we review the agenda with our open meeting, which is it's like 9:05. I'm reviewing the agenda now. We'll have a period of public comment. We'll review the minutes from the November 15th meeting, which is the last time we met. We activities as best I can. And an update on the Lake Wyola watershed site visit. Updated on dam management activities. We're gonna have a discussion about the review of the committee membership and any items that we didn't anticipate. Does that make sense, everybody? We online okay? Okay, so I think we should open the floor for public comments. Is there any?
Sound like it.
Okay, I don't think so. I don't think there's any public comments. All right, we're gonna have a chance to review the minutes of the November meeting. Any comments or corrections that need to be made?
I think I wrote you an email. There is for John Glory's name in the vote tables. It's listed both as yes and absent, but
I agree.
oh, okay. I didn't notice. Did you do that?
I thought I did that.
I didn't check. Sorry, I didn't look at this one here.
Oh, I corrected that.
Actually, I still see it on this.
Yeah.
On the.
Perfectly when I got your email, but I appreciate that time.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other comments? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as amended.
Second.
We'll have a vote to accept the minutes. Glenn,
Aye, yes.
all made a motion. And Howard second. Okay, Glenn is yes. Bob, Bob,
Hi.
John,
Aye.
Catherine,
Yes,
Art,
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Tom,
Aye.
Eric. Eric, did you, are you voting yes or no to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Walter, Walter,
Yes.
and Marcus, yes. Okay, we're good with minutes then. We'll do one correction to the John. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is a review of the jam activities. That's great. A lot's happened since since our last meeting here. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So back in November, the week after our last meeting, and Howard, you guys can, Howard and Len, you can fill these things and fill in the gaps, Howard noticed that the dam was leaking. Now where it usually leaks, but in a different place. And, you mind just describe that a little bit?
Well, on one of my checks, I was looking downstream and I saw all this sand over all the rocks in the brook area. There's something's wrong here someplace, and I called Walter and he came down and we got looking around, and when I first looked out at the lake, it was moving, so you really couldn't see through the water. And when the second time when I went out in the front, it was clear and you could see a hole over on as I'm looking at the lake over on the right side. So we figured out what was happening. The water was coming down through there and going out and spreading spreading sand all over the place there. So then we got a hold of Lenny and he came down and he and Walter talked about it, and then Lenny went and reported it to GSA, was it?
Yeah, GCA.
GZA, yeah, sorry.
And so GZA came out the next day?
No, that's
They came later that day. They came at like dusk, basically, what I remember.
about 3:30 in the afternoon, they came out. And that's when he said he was talking to somebody in, was it
Office of Dam Safety.
Office of Dam Safety.
dam safety, and during the conversation, they decided to bring the lake down another 5 feet.
No, 3 feet,
Another 3 feet, 5 feet.
for a total of 5.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
And, that's right, because I already had it down too. And just to get it past that hole. And that's what we've done.
Also clean the rack.
Yeah,
That was the main cause of this, which has been something that we've been trying to address for years, is the fact that if the trash rack plugs up significantly, it's still trying to draw water from somewhere because of the head pressure. And in this case, what it finally did was found another path other than through the trash rack into the sluiceway. It found another path being through the sand and the rocks into different parts of it, probably mostly into the area of the sluiceway, or in the area between the plastic liner and the old stone lining, because when the original was done, that was supposed to be filled with grout to make it a solid passageway, and apparently they weren't able to do it. And what we found they did was they plugged up the ends with styrofoam and then mortared over the outside, so it looked like it was full. And with the added negative pressure, the actual styrofoam blew out the end of the area between the sluiceway and the stone sluiceway and gave it another path. So it was drawing water through there and through the leaks in the stone of the well, and just pulled all the sand with it. So I did dive the next day, I believe it is, or within a couple days, to remove this time a significant amount of material, including large sticks and all kinds of stuff. And it was, matter of fact, I have video of that dive too. And you almost can't see the gate. There was so much stuff. I mean, if you didn't know it was there, you might not have seen it. There's just so much debris. But even after we opened that up, I mean, well, we determined that that's most likely the cause, just because in opening the gate only an inch, the water level in the well by the gate dropped about 1.5 feet, 2 feet almost, which instantly signifies that it's not drawing water through the sluiceway, because only opening it an inch, you shouldn't see any change in it. Whereas opening an inch, it's letting more water out than is coming in, so the water level drops. So we did clear that, and which helped relieve. Otherwise, all the water would be going through there as you were trying to lower the dam. You would be, or lower the lake. You'd be lowering the lake through the sinkhole, not through the gate. So we cleaned that, and it was able to draw then more through the gate. And that was the end of my really involvement with it. And then it was between Howie and Lenny.
But just for information, Walter had cleaned that back in September.
Yeah.
And that's how fast it filled up.
That unusual? Maybe it
Yeah,
clogged.
do we have a sense of why that is?
Some of it it's been a poor design from original. I mean, that's why I said we've been talking about this for years, that they need to redesign that rack. I used to dive it back when I was Fire Chief Emergency Management Director. So that was, at least 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And I was doing it for a couple of years then. So it's been a problem now for the 100 years before that, before they did the dam repairs and changed that trash rack. We never had a problem, never had to really clean that. And since they put the new trash rack in, it's been nothing but a problem. So yeah, there's a problem with that. And I don't know there was a large amount of sticks, unusual amount from what it normally is. So I don't know if it was wash away from the beaver dam at the other end in the culvert. With high flow, some of that stuff floated down, although a lot of the stuff looked like it was cut straight rather than, a beaver chewing it. So is that people cutting brush and leaves on their yard and letting the stuff just go in the lake rather than dealing with the brush? It's hard to say. I'm not going to point fingers at it. It's just there was a large amount of sticks and all that in there, plus all the leaves, which in the fall time, that's usually the worst time because of all the leaves going into the lake. So it's a combination of a lot of different things, but the ultimate problem, I think, is the design of the trash rack. Always has been.
But also, you really wouldn't notice it until the fall when I start to draw the lake down, because during the summer, it's just basically sometimes you don't even have to touch it month at a time. And we're just drawing a little bit of water on the thing. But then when I open it up to draw, that's when you find out that the thing is blocked.
Okay.
Yeah, every day that I go out there, I take a look at the trash rack, and what's weird to me, it's plugged up beforehand, but I haven't seen a single stick or leaf go on it right now since our 3-foot drawdown, and I would have thought before the ice froze over, I thought it would start plugging up a little bit because we're going down 3 feet, and yeah, there hasn't even been a single stick over the rack. So it's almost like a whole bunch of sticks were dumped right over there just a week prior, just seems kind of odd to me, the way the whole timing on everything, how it got plugged up. Yeah,
How deep is it now where the rack is?
now you can just, the rack is just under the water.
Okay,
So it'd be like 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's about 9 feet.
when the lake is at.
When the lake is,
its level.
when the lake is at its highest level, it's between 9 and 10 feet, somewhere around there.
But you can see it from the surface now. You mean?
Yeah,
Or
you
if it
yeah,
were-
you can see it. Yeah, you can see it from the surface, and I actually even tried taking the, just to try if I can, I took the, I don't know, what do you call that, Howie, out of the dam house there, the big fork on the stick?
It's a trash hook.
The
Oh,
trash hook. Okay, yeah.
And it's a firefighting
fire hook,
tool,
yeah.
but it's called the trash hook.
Yeah, trash hook.
Yeah,
Yeah, I took the trash hook to see if I could, go along the rack. potentially clean it if it were to get plugged, and just from standing right next to it, and it's pretty easy to right now because the lake's low now. So that's definitely a possibility, but there hasn't been a single stick going over the bars since Walter cleaned it out that weekend.
Okay, so and that gets us to what happened.
Yeah. That's
All right, so now
long
what's going
story.
on? A couple things are going on. Obviously the town has really jumped all over this. Haley actually has, and GCA. So GCA came up with a temporary design fix. Which basically, if I understand it, and you guys can correct me if you, is basically they're gonna put fabric along, along the face of the dam, then put gravel on top of that, small gravel on top of that to hold it in place, and then larger riprap to chunks of rock to hold that in place. And so they're basically going to put a patch on it on the front of the dam. And that's what's called considered a temporary fix. And if that holds, if that works okay, they're hoping that we can raise the water level of the lake. GZA is working with the Office of Dam Safety on all this stuff. Right now, we got Haley has sent out a request for proposal, request for bids, and she's waiting to hear back from the bids. We do have a problem with the EPA. I'm not sure who they are.
Massachusetts EPA?
Yeah, Massachusetts, okay, EPA, and they're saying we need to do an environmental review before we do anything on the dam. And so we're trying to get around that, but the town's trying to get around that because that's a significant delay. We'd like to get it fixed. So she sent a letter off to our state reps to see if they could help out. Joe Cornford and Aaron Saunders to see if they could intervene on our behalf with the Mass EPA, just so we can get the dam patched out.
Because isn't it my understanding right now that we've also got a letter from Office of Dam Safety saying we've gone beyond the time limit to actually start the emergency repairs. And that's mostly because we're waiting for bids to come back. But now another state agency is saying, oh, you can't do anything till you get a study done, which means we're in more violation of another state agency.
So it's a little bit confusing, but we're trying to work our way through it.
I'm curious on if they do the repair, are we gonna be able to raise the lake up to the spillway level or just to the 2 feet level below the spillway?
I don't have an answer for that, although I think I do. I think they don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I think I raised that with the GZA engineers, and they want to see what happens after they do the repairs and see how effective it is.
Yep.
So they're hoping that they can go back up to the normal summer level.
And again, just to reiterate, I may sound like a broken record, but all the repairs you do will probably work unless the trash rack plugs up again. Because as long as you keep the main flow where the water's designed to go, it's not going to try to draw from another source and therefore, cause a problem. But if it plugs up again, you're going to be back in the same situation. It's going to be looking for another, path of least resistance. It's going to try to find another way through.
Okay.
And they're the engineers, they should understand that, but I just don't want the obvious overlooked. Is like, we're doing all these repairs and, oh yeah, if it works, we can go up. If it doesn't, it should, as long as that trash rack is closed or left open.
Now,
Could you please tell me or us what prompted, I'm not exactly sure what the environmental review means or what it is, like what prompted it and what would they be studying or looking for? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. Like, was it already on the table and it got accelerated, or did this prompt it to happen in the first
All
place?
this prompted it to happen.
Okay.
When you do a major when you do a major repair, you're supposed to do an environmental review.
Even on an existing,
Yeah.
okay,
But because it was an emergency order from Office of Dam Safety, it says in the regulations, you do not have to do an environmental study. But Mass EPA is saying the fact that it's an order constitutes it as a permit. If I got that, just reading that quickly, therefore, any permit needs to have a review.
interesting.
But
Even though
It's all
order-
interpretation of what it
Okay,
is.
okay, that helps.
But also they're saying that when we do the major repair,
Oh, it's gonna have to have one.
you're gonna have to do it then, and that's what they're trying to put it off, so you don't have to do two of them.
I see.
They're,
Oh, this would encounter.
they're very
for the
expensive.
Future repair then.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that's right. It's to avoid two of them. That's how he's right about that.
Was that Eric? Could you repeat that?
Pardon me?
Could you say that again?
Just that Howie's right, that the whole issue really is sort of is not having two environmental studies done, and they're sort of the same thing. And it's like, why have one done and then do the work and then have it done again? That doesn't make any sense, and it's expensive. And that's what Haley's doing work right now, trying to get out of that, and hopefully we will. That's the plan.
Bob, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that absolutely when a major permit is needed, even sometimes also even for emergency repairs, that just triggers automatically a filing or application type thing. So, but I do think you can get around it for the exact reason that Walter said, is that it is an emergency, and oftentimes that's as long as it's restored back to what it was, you don't have to go through that. But what I was interested in was Walter. It sounds like you pinpointed through your observations that it's the blockage of that trash rack that's really causing the dam to wear out quicker than it should. What
Yeah.
do you think is a good solution to that? More frequent clearings, inspections? What do you think is good?
Bob, I feel it was poorly designed to start with. Like I said, the old one, which we have pictures of when they drew down to do the repairs, was actually made of wood, believe it or not. It was made of wood. The spacing between the bars was much bigger, and it was put in at an angle. The trash rack that they put in place of it was made of rebar, rough rebar. So the surfaces were really rough. The spacing was a lot closer.
Mm.
And I don't have the measurements right now. And then it was put at a perfectly vertical position. So everything that comes up to it sticks. I watched one leaf come by and just go thunk and stick right to a bar. And then another one sticks. And then because as they stick, the spacing gets less and less. Then you need one stick to go across it at an angle, and it just builds up really quickly.
Gotcha.
And it seems to me that if the wooden one with much larger spacing and angle to it lasted for hundreds of years, and never had a problem with it, and suddenly have a problem with this new one, it's definitely a design problem. I mean, what I tried doing at one point to make the surfaces smoother was we got PEX tubing and sliced it, and it's PEX water tubing that was larger, and sliced it and slid it over to make a slick surface to it, which helps some, but the problem is inherently it makes the spacing even that much smaller. So the spacing between the bars is really too much. I think I can take barely put two fingers in between the bars of the spacing, so they're that close together. So anything, even a small twig, is going to get caught. And the fact that I think that it's perfectly vertical helps all the forces directly against the gate, whereas being at an angle, it kind of deflects it up and gives it a chance to slide around.
Gotcha.
Again, I'm not an engineer, but in observation, and I've been cleaning this thing for, I don't know, 6-7 years,
At least.
it's always the same. And I've actually sat there and watched it, clear it. Okay, stir up some stuff. What happens as it goes in? And you see it drop, the flow bring it up and immediately starts plugging the trash rack back up. So it's definitely a flaw in the gate. And if that, in my opinion only, if that was to stay clear or mostly clear, then there wouldn't be a problem, because the only time we have a problem is when the gate plugs up. And like I said, when the lake is full or close to it, you've got a 10-foot draft, a 10-foot head pressure there. That doesn't sound like a lot, but with water, it's a fair amount of pressure. And if it's trying to go through the gate or the dam and you block the main flow, the design flow, it's going to try to come from somewhere. And because the dam is a stone and earthen dam, eventually it's going to find a way through.
Find its way through those little cracks, sure.
Yeah, right through the cracks between all the rocks. And that's what happened. I mean, and obviously it happened this time enough that Howie could see the whole downstream side of the dam was covered in sand. That sand came from the inside of the dam being pulled through. And when you look down even into the well, there was a lot of sand all over the place in the bottom of the well too, where just before the gate. So it's been drawing a lot of sand through there. The sinkholes I could actually stick my arm in, at least up to my elbows in between the spaces of the rocks before I couldn't get through there anymore. But there was probably about 4 or 5, or more multiple holes all in the same area, all going together. So,
Wow.
the big thing is we can do the repairs, but they also have to, and I think it did state in it they were going to remove and reinstall a new trash. Because that will be the problem. Because if we don't fix that, this is going to be a problem every year till it's done.
Excellent. Thank you. And I just want to say a special thank you to Howard for your vigilance. When water is going through a dam, it doesn't get any better on its own. But it can get a whole lot worse. So thank you for picking that up so quickly.
Catherine, you have your hand raised. Catherine?
There we go. Yeah, I was just going to ask, since we know the exact characteristics of a trash rack that works really well, what's standing between us and installing one just like that?
Engineers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's the legality. I mean, I really didn't want to do too much to it myself because, the legality of, I'm not an engineer. I did what I could to do incidental things to see if it made it better. But, again, even talking with, Morris Root on all the years that we were looking about that, talking about it, it's like, that's something that should be properly engineered and installed.
I think you recall that the dam, the routine dam inspections identified a number of problems, and we had funding from the state to do the design work to do those repairs. And part of those repairs would include replacing the trash rack. Well, all that stopped now. We've switched gears, and now we're doing that fund money is going towards the design of the preliminary of temporary repairs. And so we still have to get funding to do the actual emergency repairs. And GZA is working with the state to try to free up some funds for that. Now, next phase, if this all works, the next phase is to do what's called phase 2 inspection, which is a much more significant inspection of the dam. They were going to have to drill through the dam, I think top down, and do core samples and find out what's really going on. And in all likelihood, that area of the dam will have to be rebuilt. The phase 2 inspection doesn't occur till next fall, I think, pending funding, and then we need to get a lot of money to do the actual permanent repairs. And I think the GZA engineer was talking about the last time I heard was at a meeting with them, they were saying something like $500,000 possibly. So it's a lot of money now. To do. Correct. We also have to resize the spillway, so the spillway is gonna have to be rebuilt. So it's a lot of work is gonna have to occur. Does that sound all right from your guys?
Yeah.
Your guys understanding? And Eric, is that something, did you have any more information from GZA's years?
No, I think we're just waiting for as I say, as you said, we're just waiting for the approval of different grants, or we're trying to get different grants and different proposals for it to fix it. You know, one thing that always bugs me or gets me is like, it just seems like we just spent a lot of money on this dam to get it fixed. You know, I'm really bad at these things, but probably within the last 10 years, you're sort of going, why are we doing this again? It's like, it's whatever.
Well, part of it, Eric, is that the work wasn't done properly the first time.
Right. No, I know that.
I mean, when they lined the stone sluiceway with the plastic pipe, it was supposed to be completely filled with grout and sealed at both
Right.
ends, and that didn't happen. They tried, there's some grout in there, but it's easy to see when you look at it. I mean, I've crawled up from the downstream side up to the back side of the gate, and you look in there and it's gaping holes in between the pipe and the old stone sluiceway.
Well, I guess my point would be that somehow that deficient repair got past somebody, like the inspector or something. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems a little weird to me. That's all. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I was a lawyer, I'd be sharpening my pencil. I can tell you that right now.
That's about where things are. Yes, it's anybody have other questions or comments?
I'd like to make one request.
Sure.
I need another staff gauge put right at the dam. It's difficult now to even tell what the lake level is. Lenny and I were just, it's a lot of questions in that here. I'd like to have one that goes up +2 and down at least 6 feet.
Okay.
Because once it goes, past 5, you could measure it on the crash rack from there on down.
The committee has, a small budget. And we use that budget to buy the last staff gauge. And I don't see why we can't buy another staff gauge. Not sure how we're gonna get it installed.
Well,
The perfect time is if they're got it drawn down doing the work.
Oh, that's right. If they're going to replace the trash truck, they've got to lower the lake down to the
Yeah.
8 feet level. We can put in,
yeah,
um,
in fact, they could use their tripods and all that to get the thing set at the right level, I would think.
it says there's no rush to buy it.
Well, yes and no. Want to do it before they get done with the repair.
All right. Then,
Not necessarily the repairs we're gonna do now, but I mean, before the major repairs.
the major repairs won't occur until 2027.
Well,
Or at best. Because they have to do the phase 1, they got to do the phase 2 inspection, which is significant.
yeah,
And then they have to do the design work to do the repairs. And we have to try to apply for funding, the state to do all this stuff.
and then probably for this one, it should be then. It's when you start drawing it down for the major one, we need to know where the level is.
Yeah. Um,
How much ice is still on the lake? A lot.
The ice is still thick.
Good time to do it when there's ice on the lake because you can just cut a hole in it and use that as the platform to work from, the ice.
Sure.
To drive it down into where you're gonna be, and then you just can set up a transit and get the height that it needs to be set at. Rather than trying to do it out in the water from a boat or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't even go into that story.
Um,
So won't the ice completely destroy it, basically, when? for-
Not necessarily, there's a lot of, well, if you go down there now, you got open water.
Well,
I mean, when
That is-
it may later on, it may lift
Yeah.
it up. I mean, that
because-
has happened to the other one. Where we put it, water usually moves, so it never really froze that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, having one by the dam might,
No, that was because of the beaver dam too.
you're right.
It slowed all the water and it flows in that area.
Yeah.
And it normally wouldn't.
Yeah, so the,
You know, if you, I guess at that point, then you're talking making something that has a significant base to it, which is something we have to do when they're doing the repairs. A significant cement base with that set in it, so the ice really couldn't lift it up.
yeah. Yeah, so
It's not so much movement of the ice so much, it's, you know, ice grabbing it and then changing the height to get a storm or something like that.
yeah.
Do we need so I can go get, I can go do some searches, or we can, anyone can do some searches and see where we can buy an appropriate staff. For, how about this is, how about we just go out and buy, we'll figure out what we want. I'll run it by you guys, through emails, and then we'll just go out and buy it. And get it, have it stored in the gatehouse. So that if the opportunity arises to put it in even temporarily.
Hmm.
We can just get it done, and then we can reposition it if necessary when they do the major repairs, if they have to draw down the lake a lot, we can include that in in part of the scope of the project.
Sounds good.
Do we need a motion for that, or can we just,
I think-
I move that we do just what Mark said.
I'll second it.
we're supposed to get some notes here? So, put together a motion to go out and buy a staff gauge.
Right.
Catherine has access, and Catherine's our secretary, so she'll let us know how much money we have available. But the town pays for it, one way or another, someone's gonna have to pay for it. They weren't expensive there, I think.
And I believe the post that we use, we got from the highway department. It's one of the longer galvanized, heavy galvanized posts that they use for street signs.
Okay. So,
That's right, yeah.
so let's see. So the motion is that we're gonna go on buying an extra staff gauge and as soon as we can. And if it's, and have it stored in the store someplace.
Yeah.
And if the opportunity arises to put it in, we put it in. Okay. So that's the motion.
And it should be, as Howie said, to read 2 feet above, full level down to what you say, 5 or 6 feet below.
I'd say at least
6
6
feet.
feet. Because right at 5 feet, it's not quite to the trash, right? 6 would be. So if you need to measure anything else, you
Yep.
can measure the trash rack itself. Tape a ruler to the.
Okay, so all right, so we're gonna vote on that motion. Len,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes,
Art,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes,
Mark is yes, Tom,
Yes,
Eric,
Yes.
and Walter.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going alphabetical order here, so just so I'm not singling anybody out here. All right, good. So I can look into that, or you guys can look into that and just do some searching and see if we can find a manufacturer. Probably have the information on who we originally bought the last one from, and it
Right.
seems to be okay. But and I'll circulate that around to the group too. And so if anybody wants to do some searching to see where we see what our options are. Good. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions or comments about the dam? Anything I missed? Okay. Thank you very much. All right, next is an update on the Lake Wyola watershed study site visit. And there is no update. They were supposed to meet with the engineers who are doing the design work for the for the area around the lake to reduce silt contaminants from getting into the lake. They were supposed to meet on Friday, but because of the snow, they didn't, and so now it's tentatively scheduled for next Friday. And I think it's the 27th.
You have a time of day? Or-
I think it's 1 o'clock.
Thanks.
And the last plan was to meet in my house because there's no place to park anymore because of snow. And then do a walk around and then somehow meet on the other side of the lake and do a walk around there.
Is that GZA too?
GZA is the company who's doing that work also.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not sure if it's the same guys, it's the same engineers, but we'll find out. So hopefully at our next meeting, I'll be able to give everyone an update of what's going on there. Let's see here. Any questions about that? Okay, good. Update on beaver dam management. Is that all? Everyone's on understanding, is that all done?
Yes,
So the beaver dam has been removed?
yes.
So the beaver dam's been removed, but I mean, do we have anything in place to prevent them from coming back?
No.
And what's their course of action when they do come back?
Same thing they're doing right now.
Because it seems really just bad to wait 6 months and have that culvert be plugged 50% and 6 months and have to wait even longer just to get it cleared out. I mean, the road was starting to be there were sinkholes in the road.
Well, if they take care of it like we did in the past, when you see brush there, take it out. Don't let it build into a dam. I would say that they should be checking it at least once a week during the beaver time. Usually it doesn't happen in the summer. It's in the fall when I start drawing the lake down. Then the beaver says,
They see the drop in the water level and say
Drop in
something's
water
wrong, they're gonna, that's
something.
instinct.
and you can't put anything out around it like a fence or something like that. Cause the camp uses that area for launching their canoes. And you can't be carrying them across the road. These are all little kids. And it's a dangerous area to be carrying things anyhow.
Yeah. So basically, in the fall time, we have to keep an eye on it
Yeah,
at every
Yeah.
time. So
Well-
what's
what's it hurt when he stops by, like I stopped the other day just to be sure.
yeah. So I've
Driving by there, stop, go out and take a look at it.
So I've heard multiple things of like any stick across the stream there. You have to go through the Conservation Commission to remove it. Now, what's the real
I think it's Board of Health was one.
Board of Health and Conservation Commission? Now it's
Well, the Board of Health had put it out, you will, they will keep that open.
Yeah.
They'll keep it clean.
Catherine has her hand raised.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask about the results of the trapping. We had a whole trapping regimen set up in the fall. Do we know if they got any beavers?
6 that I heard.
Are they finished? Have they taken the traps in or are they still?
I think so. They may be working for Pine Brook. They were going to go further upstream.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. As far as the Board of Health goes, we have to give a permit if the trapping is taking place outside of the trapping season. But that's really our only involvement in it. It's more about the Conservation Commission if you're going to lay hands on an actual dam. Bob may want to speak to that.
Yeah,
I'll let Bob, I think it was 8 beavers, because the clerk for the Board of Health in Wendell, and that's the report I got from the trapper. And it seemed to include traps, whether they were at the culvert or upstream, Pine Brook area, FYI.
Thank you.
yeah. Interestingly enough, towns do the beaver thing differently, even though it's one state regulations. I would say go through Board of Health if you're going to trap. The Conservation Commission can issue an emergency cert that's good for 30 days. Generally, that's the way it's done. Highway Department or Board of Health, because of flooding somebody's septic system, needs a beaver dam taken down. The Conservation Commission signs off on an emergency cert. If there's something big being put in, like a beaver deceiver that requires engineering and elevations and things like that, then that would generally requires a notice of intent permit. So it seems to me like the clearing that you're talking about would would be something that would be allowed under an emergency cert, and as Catherine quite correctly stated, that trapping outside of the season does need a permit from the Board of Health.
Question, Bob. If you probably can't answer this, but I'm going to ask it. What constitutes a beaver dam? If you catch it with a few sticks across the bottom where they're starting to build some stuff up, is that a dam yet? Can you not touch that? Or is it a dam once it starts holding back water? And I know it's a really gray area, but the thing is, if you start seeing some activity there, or if you remove a few sticks, when it's still a few sticks and it's not holding back water, is that a dam? Does that need a permit?
Great question, and it really sounds like a minefield to me, Walter.
Yeah, that's why I asked it.
Yeah, so yeah, I would say a few sticks is not a beaver dam. I would say, a structure is. So that's how I would see it. Emergency search should not be hard to get, however. I would think that uh, whoever's in the highway department or whoever does the road says, hey, we're in danger yet again of being undermined by this uh, by beaver activity. I think that could be signed off fairly quickly. So that would be my best guidance for you.
Um, we've been doing a lot of research in Wendell about it because of this actual beaver permit and dam over the last few months. And there is guidance from the state that is not kind of a regulation, but the guidance is that for an out of season trapping permit, regardless of where that trap is, Board of Health, should that trapping permit entail reaching a known dam, also Concom for the emergency permit. Separately, should that trapping in any way entail altering the water flow, regardless of whether there's a dam involved, Conservation Commission is supposed to be involved. So it starts with Board of Health, and then if it either is a change in water flow or a breach of the dam, then Conservation Commission is asked to participate in the emergency granting process. And as Bob said, from town to town, whether you're breaching the dam can even be kind of a definitional question for some towns, or if you're really altering the water flow. So I think asking about a stick and whatnot, it's always going to come back to an interpretation. But the regulation says, or that guidance sheet says from DPH, BOH, please tell the Concom if there's a dam or a potential water flow change involved so that they can be involved concurrently in the process. So, and that's kind of how the state leaves it. They can't force the BOH and Concom to talk to each other, so to say, but they ask them to.
Is there any solutions to like scare the beavers out of the area, like have a camera and like a some type of noise cannon, or like a fake wolf on the side of or predator on the side of the road to scare them away, or scarecrow or something? Because it just seems, last year we had the culvert plugged for 6 months. And I think that's really playing with fire in a way of like, all we had to do was have a really big rainstorm and a tree falling over. And what happens if that road washes out? It'll be a disaster, complete disaster.
We've had that happen before.
Yeah.
We didn't know there was a beaver dam and we had a big rainstorm and it took the dam out.
Yeah.
But I found in the past, if keep cleaning these sticks out. Eventually the beaver gets, this isn't working, and he goes some other place.
Yeah.
And you don't have to touch them or anything. But this is just, in the last few years, we started having these beaver dams and
Well, the
all
population,
the
especially up in
paperwork
the,
and everything,
yeah.
nobody wanted to take them out yet. And the last one we had was kept through the whole winter, which made them where they were, it was almost like concrete. Because they didn't work on it, take it out soon enough.
So it's a very big gray area about just removing a couple sticks versus when it turns into a real
Didn't
dam
sound
like
like it.
what we had.
Sound like it's gotta be stopping some water, the sticks weren't, it was just
Yeah.
like floating right there.
Yeah.
Where they wanted to build one.
Well, could we, go ahead, Tom.
I was just gonna add commentarily, it's tough because further upstream where Fisk Pond is and not where Pine Brook owns the
Yeah.
land, that's completely
Oh my
protected now.
And-
So the beavers there can grow,
and they've done a
freely.
lot of damage up there.
And that's really
Yeah.
not far away,
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, this problem's only this is not gonna go away just by removing one dam one
And you'll
time.
end up with,
These beavers are gonna come back indefinitely, you know. Indefinitely. So it's like, I think we should try to think outside the box and just having that dam plug up 50% of that culvert for 6 months, 9
Yeah,
months.
well, we
that
can't,
year.
whatever happens, we can't let it
That-
get at.
That is
Can't
like,
go
to
through
me,
that.
it's just asinine. Like, we're waiting. What are we gonna do? Wait till the road washes out? That's a huge problem. I mean, how is an ambulance gonna get to Wendell if that road washes out?
Yeah, I think that brings to light the competitive interests here. Like,
Yeah.
we have a strong interest as a town. I understand the camp has a strong interest too.
Yeah,
And there probably are even other interests involved, and it's hard to navigate it.
That was the first time that ever happened.
yeah,
All the other dams we took out before they got to be
before it got that, but yeah,
that they're bad. That one
yeah.
should have been taken out in the fall prior to.
I got a picture of a former firefighter standing in one of the sinkholes on that road. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah, well, that whole issue should not have happened the way it did, so.
Yeah. I just don't want to see it again. That's all.
I thought the highway department agreed to kind of keep it clear.
I think they have now.
Yeah, now they have, before they did.
Last fall, that fall before, no. They didn't.
And I thought that they were gonna put a line item in their budget, for beaver, for beaver management and,
Yeah.
and to keep that clear.
That's Chris.
Is it worthwhile for, someone want to volunteer to touch base with the highway department and see what their plans are?
Yeah, I can talk to him.
Okay, I think it's worthwhile, and then, maybe Bob, you could have a conversation, with the, Concom and see, can they just issue a permit to continuously clear out the culvert? And just to have an ongoing permit to do that. You lost Bob. And it goes back on, well, we get.
Yeah, I apologize, Mark. Can you repeat that?
Do you think you could have a conversation with Concom to see if they can just issue a permit to keep to not to remove a dam, but to keep the culvert clean?
Yeah, I could certainly ask Beth, and I think the there is no maintenance of to allow for it to be kept clean for a period of years. I think it has to be done under an emergency cert, and folks have gotten in trouble from that before. It's stupid. It used to be. Beavers used to be regulated by Fish and Wildlife, and then now they're regulated more by public health. The it's certainly been frustrating throughout my career, but I think the best way to go, that at least has worked the 2 towns I've been in, is to do the emergency cert. Hey, the DPW director or highway see something start to happen, and a permit that's good for 30 days and be extended for 30 days is issued. So that'd be my recommendation. But I'll shoot Beth a text at the end of this meeting just to get her feedback.
I think the intent is to keep it clean before, but where there's a difference in water level, before there's a dam there. And not to make a lot of work for Concom or anybody, just, just do it.
That
somehow.
would be great. When is this stick and when is it a dam? But it can be done through emergency certs, and it shouldn't take a lot of time. And but I don't think there can be a standing permit to keep a culvert clear of beaver activity. But let me make that my homework, Mark, and I'll get back to you next meeting. Okay?
Great, I appreciate it. To me, a dam is if there's a difference in water level. If there's a difference in height, you have dam, but if you have sticks there, they're not gonna, they're not gonna cause a differential in height. And therefore, there is no dam.
I would agree with that summary.
Yeah, to me, if the culvert was already passed through, Conservation Commission as water's going through the culvert, why do we have to get permission to make water go through the culvert again?
Yeah, it's
Doesn't necessarily make sense, Lenny.
right.
Sorry,
So
I'm just asking.
right. So and I had hoped that I covered it before. The if you're putting in something like a beaver deceiver, that would require a notice of intent. But generally, things done under emergency certs, those are just signed off on. So there's not a permitting process, and then it's simply ratified at at another meeting, at a future meeting. So um, and anybody who's in a position of in the town. Again, the Board of Health, because the septic system is flooding out, they can issue an emergency cert. Highway Department, DPW, if there is something that would cause a lasting effect.
Could the Conservation Commission, like every month, just issue the town a certification to keep the culvert clear?
Uh,
Just automatically do that?
if there is a clog and needs to be acted on, then the commission could issue a permit to just make it something that comes off of a secretary's desk every month. I don't think is something that would be done.
Somebody has to file for the emergencies
Yeah.
thing. You know,
Limit on
be it
number
you,
of
the highway,
emergencies.
or whatever,
Yeah. So it just sounds like just get it done every month and
Well,
keep it.
as needed. I mean, why go through the whole things of doing it if there's nothing happening? That's how he said, observe. If you see something start, then you immediately file for the emergency service, emergency order, and get it taken care of right away before it's a problem.
Good.
It'd be good if Bob's gonna take this up to Concom and, what's the easiest approach to keeping that culvert clear?
I was moving.
That requires a nimble effort from Concom. And possibly the highway department will just get into the actual work.
I can tell you it's something that towns across the Commonwealth struggle with, and the DEP is not shy about issuing fines to municipalities for this. So it is something you want to be careful about. So I will double back with Beth to see how she's done it in Amherst and how things have been done here in Shutesbury as well.
Great, I think that's a good plan. At least we can understand what has to be done, let everybody know, and then follow the rules. And with as minimal effort as possible. Okay, any more discussion about the beaver management or beaver dam management? Comments or questions? Okay. Next item on the agenda is a review of proposed definition of our committee. What I did, this is definition, I circulated to everybody. I got comments back, which I incorporated into this is the latest version. There's a number of copies around here that we can compare. And it should be in everybody's email, but proposal for let's review this. The proposal for the membership will be include one member from the select board or a designee. That's the right word. One member from Conservation Commission or designee. One member from the Board of Health, say, or designee. One member from the Planning Board, or designee. The Emergency Management Director, or designee. The dam keeper, a minimum of 3 members and a maximum of 5 members for the Lake Wyola Association. And one of the LWA members should also be a member of the LWA Board of Directors, so that to create a good communication flow between the LWA board and our committee. And then I added one associate non-voting member, appointed by a select board to provide additional technical expertise. And that's Walter's role on the committee. Comments from anybody? Catherine, you're up.
Yeah, my only problem with this is that 3 to 5. I don't see how we can have a committee that doesn't have a set number of positions on it. I think it has to be either 3 or 5 or some other number, but I don't think we can float like that.
We have for all these years, though. All right.
I think where it could become a problem is if you're trying to determine whether you have a quorum to have a meeting or not. If you don't have a set number of people on this committee, it can change the number for the quorum.
Exactly, because the quorum is determined by the number of positions on the committee, not the number of positions that are filled.
So how about we just change it to get rid of the minimum, get rid of the 3 and just have 5 members from the Lake Wyola Association.
That would work.
Okay.
It's gonna make it harder to make a quorum though.
We usually don't have a problem with making it for them.
Okay.
We have a pretty active group here, I don't think, it's been a long time since we haven't had a quorum.
It's a difference of one person in a sense.
Okay, so I'll change that to just 5 members, Lake Wyola Association. One of the members has to be on the board of directors of the Association, Lake Wyola, LWAC. No, LWA. Tom, you have questions?
Yeah, I have several. Associate members, usually for bodies, are members who can step in to become active voting members as needed. So to define an associate member as non-voting is contradictory to what an associate member is by definition. So I think that needs to be ironed out. If the associate member is going to be an associate member the way they usually are in a committee, for example, if you can't achieve quorum or people have to recuse themselves, that's when associate members step in and take on an active voting role. The way this is described, it wouldn't need to be included. This would just be a professional or expert guest, could always be invited for expertise, advice, and have a non-voting role. But associate members aren't by definition non-voting.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to have associate members, just keep that in mind. They would be eligible to become voting people as cases might arise.
Okay, so how about if I just take out the word non-voting and just say associate member, make it single?
Right. And I don't know what that entails for home rule or other things, because I know it was a bit of a deal to get the associate members onto the membership of the planning board. And I know there are certain hoops you have to go through just to get I don't know if it's only select board or if it also needs town meeting approval to add associate members to a group. Walter is not currently an associate member, which you have down in the table below. This
I was just.
This is a.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a theoretical. I
Yeah.
Make sure that was also clear.
Yeah, that was just for our purpose, so we know who fills what role.
Right.
That came up a while ago.
Yeah. So just if we could iron out if it's going to be associate members actually added to the
Or
membership,
just a
or if
technical,
we're just eliminate that
technical
bullet
advisor.
item, and always keep in mind we would invite experts as needed for things.
Okay, so I'll change that to an associate member. Put it by the select board.
And how many I mean,
Say-
usually it's one, usually it's two in my experience, but I don't know if you would want one or two.
Let's assume, let's keep it simple and we'll go with just one.
Sure, if it were two, then there's the task of filling it. And the other comment stems from my position that we would do well to remember that LWAC exists for the whole Shutesbury community. We do not have secondary community districts or divisions within our overall town structure. As such, town bodies represent and/or town bodies work on behalf of the Shutesbury community as a whole. Therefore, I would suggest that we increase the number of designees to 7. Select Board, Conservation Commission, Board of Health, Planning Board, Emergency Management Director, Dam Keeper, and the 7th designee would be a designee of the Lake Wyola Association. Whether the Lake Wyola Association would choose to make their designee a member of their board or not is for them to decide. By defining the at-large members as members of the Lake Wyola Association, we are not respecting that the LWAC is for the Shutesbury community as a whole. We are respecting that the Lake Wyola Association is an important member of the Shutesbury community when we say that they get a designated member onto this committee. And so again, I would advocate for 7 designated members, the 6 that you have here, plus an LWA designee. And then I would say plus 5 at-large members of the Shutesbury community. Or 4, excuse me, that would be 4 at-large members of the Shutesbury community for a committee of 11 in the end.
Comments? So you're saying 1 member from the LWA and 4 members from the community at large?
From the, I would call it the Shutesbury community, because that allows for them to be in Shutesbury or not. I mean, even on our zoning board of appeals right now, we have a member of the Conway community, but is also considered a member of the Shutesbury community, and they serve as a member on our zoning board of appeals. So I think if we said 4 at-large members from the Shutesbury community, there's a lot of room there for the select board to be able to appoint voters in Shutesbury, residents in Shutesbury, or other people who might apply and be appropriate.
See, I have a different perspective on that. And I think the members of the LWA have a much more significant investment in what goes on around the lake than many other people, or in most other people in town. And I would be uncomfortable with someone who has no interest in the lake, and has contrary interest in protecting the lake, beyond that committee, on our committee.
Well, we need a plurality of opinions on any committee.
But I think we have a plurality of opinions here. We have.
But you just advocated to exclude opinions from people who are not LWA members.
Anybody in town can attend these meetings and participate. They can come here. We always have guests.
I worry it could be potentially even illegally exclusive if it wasn't a committee open to the Shutesbury community.
Well, if means someone.
Could you just put drop the LWAC LWA members to 4 and put 1 of general public? You're still getting
to be stacking the membership with a lot of LWA members, and to be on the LWA, you need to be in a certain part of town, or you need to own certain property, and it brings up equity issues.
Well, I mean, this is essentially
because we don't have a representative structure in our town for one particular area of town, and this is creating that.
This committee was created because
the committee was created. The 5 members from the associate, 3 to 5 members was defined at that point in time.
Yeah, that might have been a mistake then. I think we might be noticing now that this committee is not representing the Shutesbury community, it's representing the lake community. And that may or may not be appropriate. I'm asking, but I have grave concerns that it could be considered not inclusive enough.
Mary, Bill, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, if I can speak, I'm not a member now, but the purpose of this committee was to be people around the lake. And as we found over time, most people, it's hard to find anybody from the other areas that know enough about what's going on at the lake to be able to provide opinions. And I think that's been shown recently in some of the committees, the voting committees and things that have gone on that, you know, people who don't live around the lake and don't use the lake have very different opinions. And there's a lot of discussion that, somebody that never ever even comes near the lake, how does that stand up to people who actually live here and who's making decisions about people who live here? And that's all been part of the discussions over time as it came for looking at it. Thanks.
Art, you have your hand raised? Art. Wait a second.
Yeah, let's just consider all the work that LWA does and its vested interest in the lake. I mean, we wouldn't know about the milfoil problem if it wasn't for LWA activities. And so I worry about disenfranchising the people who are most actively invested in the lake if we were to do this. I mean, just think if you removed 3 of the LWA members from the committee now, what impact would that have? So I don't like this suggestion at all. I think we should keep LWA representation at 4 to 5 members, 5 members ideally. Those are the people who are involved. Those are the people who are interested. Those are the people who do the work. And LWAC needs to be coordinated with that work that gets done.
Eric's got his hand up.
Eric?
Yeah, I would agree that that with what everyone's saying about the LWAC is sort of the committee about the lake and for people at the lake. It's a way that's what it was created for. I would also say that just practically, if we have a situation that requires us to have members from the committee at large, community at large, I honestly don't think there'd be that many people interested in it. So I really don't. I think that realistically, if people, whatever they want the people at the lake to take care of the lake and be responsible for the lake and so forth. They not they don't like people at the lake or anything like that, but they just don't have any interest in it.
Thank you. Catherine, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, do we have to actually make this designation? I mean, it's not like people are just going to appoint themselves to the committee. The committee members are appointed by the select board, and they are presumably going to give preference if there is competition, which I very much doubt, to people who do have some kind of connection with or expertise at the lake. I'm not sure we need to be so strict about defining these memberships.
Tom, excuse me.
Yeah, I would agree with Catherine. I think you have more freedom, and the reality probably will be that people who live near or use the lake more than people who don't would apply to be on the committee, and that would mean they would more likely be LWA members than not. My suggestion would offer a designated role for the LWA's involvement and wouldn't exclude the possibility that more LWA members would be either among those designees or among those members at large. I would point out that in 1991, when the committee was formed, the mission statement read, Lake Wyola is a source of enjoyment for the Shutesbury community and its visitors, and it should be maintained for its multifaceted recreational and natural values. And you will not find the phrase lake community And the lake community only showed up in a revised mission statement, I believe in 2017. So again, this is why I feel it's very important to remember this is a Shutesbury committee about a Shutesbury resource. And we should be careful about not including all of Shutesbury. And our language, even on this video, we should be mindful of. There were many people who have come to other committees, such as the Erosion Task Force and the Boating Safety Committee, who do not live near the lake, but who have passionate interest in the lake. They use it. They boat on it, they swim on it, they water ski on it, but they don't necessarily even live in town. So the community of the lake is a very big community. And I just want to be careful about not, or actually even possibly offending people who might hear on the recording of this video that they don't get it because they don't live near the lake. I don't think that's fair. I think a lot of people do get it wherever they live.
Yeah, I have a concern that the select board would appoint someone to the committee that wants to restrict access to the lake for the rest of the town.
Based on what do you have that concern? That
Well-
sounds, is there a base for that concern?
Well, the last town meeting, you proposed that to prevent people from, prevent families from using the lake, effectively preventing families with boats from using the lake on Fridays and Saturdays, on Saturdays and Sunday
With all
afternoon.
due respect, my motion was to include a period of time from 2 p.m. until sunset on Saturdays and Sundays when no motorboat activity would be at a speed greater than headway speed.
That's exactly
I
right.
don't remember putting families in my motion. I do take a little bit of offense that you're adding
Well,
ideas that were not expressed by me.
Well, but that was in effect, what would happen is that families, working families who only come up on the weekends would lose access for recreational activities to the lake for the afternoons. When the sun's out, when the weather's nice. And that wasn't maybe your intent, but that is in effect what would happen.
And what is wrong with having an idea like that,
Um,
for which about 40% of the people actually voted? I wasn't here today to discuss this motion from last May of 2020.
but you're ready.
Imagine you might be here to discuss that, but I'm here to discuss the fact that this committee membership does not read as an inclusive committee membership for the community of Shutesbury. That's my point.
And my point is that how can we guarantee that whoever gets assigned to the committee has the interest of the people who live around the lake? And I don't think we can guarantee that.
I don't know how you can guarantee what any member of any committee
I-
feels or thinks. That's
How
really
many
strong.
positions would it take of the general public to help balance this out? If we did 4 LWA, 1 general community, 3 WA, 2 general community?
That's
I mean, we gotta find a mediate this and come up with something that makes either nobody happy or most people happy. I mean,
Raise your hand first, but let's go with Art.
Muted.
You're muted.
I don't know that there are a lot of people out there outside of Tom who are unhappy with the way things are working now. And in the name of making the committee
I'm happy. I'm not unhappy.
in the name of making the committee more inclusive, Tom's proposal is to make the committee exclusive of LWA participation. I think things are working fine right now, and we have a lot of people in the LWA who are concerned with what's going on and who are active. And
My proposal does not say to
and I
exclude any
think-
LWA members.
And I think we need to continue to have LWA active participation in LWAC because are the folks who are doing the work around the lake.
Harry, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Art for doing that. I don't think the membership structured as this says any message to anybody that they're not welcome to come and to apply or to come to the meeting at any time. In previous meetings, when I was on the committee, many times when there was discussions to be had, it was opened up and people who had an interest came to express their interest in the committee. It's never been a limiting committee. I also think, you know, limiting the people from LWA from being on the committee would significantly deter people from even wanting to belong to LWA too. Their belonging and being members to work on all these committees is based on, their commitment and their long-term commitment to the lake. So thanks.
Catherine, you have your hand raised?
Yes.
Thank you, Mary.
We would not be, if we took off the LWA requirement from some or all of these memberships, that does not mean that we would be excluding LWA. They could be filled, those positions could be filled by LWA members or not. Right? So we're not making it more exclusive. We would just be making a little bit more inclusive. And I would think that if we, I think Walter suggested maybe three places could be designated for LWA, and two of them could simply be open positions that could be open to anyone, or regardless of their membership in LWA. That seems to me like a reasonable compromise.
So it could be LWA members if nobody else wanted to fill the position, and it could be somebody else
Right.
on those two positions. Right.
Okay,
I'll offer one more take on that. We could cap it at 9, have the 7 designated members that I mentioned, where one of the designees is LWA, and have 2 undefined members.
So what we're suggesting here, what the suggestion is, I'm not saying that we're suggesting, is that we have a little confused what Thomas is suggesting.
I can repeat it if you want.
Right now, we have 5 sort of LWA members. You're suggesting to change it to.
I would make 2 suggestions, either an 11-member committee.
Does that include the associate membership?
No,
So we're saying 12 effectively.
no, if we're saying 11, associate members aren't considered in that number.
All right.
An 11-member committee,
Yep.
7 designees. The 6 that you already have listed,
Yep.
1 LWA designee.
Yep.
And if it's an 11-member committee with 7 designees, I would say 1 LWA designee and 4 at large. My other suggestion would be a 9-member committee, 7 designees, including 1 LWA designee and 2 at-large members. Either of my suggestions includes at-large members being undefined. It does not exclude that they could be LWA members. It does not require that they be LWA members.
And my preference would be, in the interest of flexibility here, is to say three LWA members and 2 at-large positions. If at-large is the right word. I'm just really concerned that having too many people, potentially having people who have no interest in the lake, making decisions for the lake. That's my concern, and I think it's a valid concern. Art, you have your hand raised? Art?
Yeah, I just see no necessity for making this change to, limiting it to 1 designated LWA member, given historically why and how the committee was created, and given the way the committee's operating now. where's the need? So I will oppose. I will vote against any proposal that limits membership to a single designated LWA member.
And I would, Catherine, go on, your turn.
That, once again, that's not the proposal. The proposal is for those memberships to be open either to LWA members or to non-members of LWA. I think Art wants to answer.
Art, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I think under Tom's proposal, there is a single designated LWA member, and everything else is at large. And given the active participation in LWA and LWAC, I find limiting it to a single designated member and everything else being open to be unreasonable. So I can't support it.
Okay. I'm not sure how to move forward here. I could redraft this, or I could propose that we vote on it as is and see what happens. We know it's going to be, not everybody is going to be happy no matter what.
Would a compromise be 3 and 2 of those 5? 3 designated LWAC members, 2 open to the general public, not exclusive of anybody. So it could be filled by LWA, it could be not filled by, I mean, we have one LWA slot right now that is open. Would that
Could we ask the town council for an opinion about whether it's legitimate not to have just at-large members for the community or only to have defined LWA members as the at-large members?
I can do that. I can send this off. I can send this proposal off to, I guess, Haley, who would then send it off to town council and get their opinion. I think it's that's probably a worthwhile to do.
That underlies my fear of liability if we don't have a committee that's inclusive enough or that's unduly or inappropriately inclusive. So
How about we go down that path? Well, let's just.
I'll make a motion that we table this discussion until we get feedback from town council on the proposed membership as it stands versus some kind of change to it to make it more, if necessary, legal.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, so there's a motion to get town council opinion on whether membership as proposed is inclusive and legal. Or is legal. I think that's what we're asking the lawyer to. Okay, so let's any discussion of that proposal or that motion? What?
Do you need a second then?
We know we have a second, so but we should have a discussion about it. Okay, so there's no discussion. Let's vote. Len,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Mark is yes. Tom,
yes,
Eric,
Yes.
and Walter.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we'll do from and I'll get that off this week to Haley. All right. I think we may be cutting getting we're been needing like an hour and a half. I don't know if we get cut off at some point in time, but let's just let's go on to item number 9, which is items that have not least to be anticipated prior to the meeting. Is there any other items that we'd like to present? Okay,
Not at this point.
all right. Sounds good. Thank you very much, everybody.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
And, we have to do a roll call here. All right, so the motion on the floor is to adjourn. Motion by, Tom, keep seconded.
Lenny did.
Right. All right, Len,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Marcus, yes, Tom,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
and Walter.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Our next meeting will be, I don't know, my calendar here, but.
Should be
Third,
the same in March.
we're always the third.
I mean, it's the 21st again.
21st.
First, okay.
Yep.
Same.
May 1st of March.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of the weekend. Take care.
Thank you.
Close at 9, right?
Thank you, everybody.
Yes. Bye.
I'm gonna end the meeting. We're all disappearing.